Let's do the natural nail overlay first. So we have a nail here, and every service should start with the sanitizing your hands and your client's hands. And I think I will be using gloves. It is time to push back the cuticle, and you can use pusher or you can use an orange wood stick to push it back. So we just removed the old products, that's why the nail kind of looks prepped already. So just push it back, and this moment you can do the dry manicure if you need to. And then we're going to remove the surface shine. I'm going to do it very lightly because, like I said, we just removed the old product. So here we have the nail, and you can see that this corner on the left side is missing. So we are going to do the overlay and extend it a little bit. Well, and fill in this missing corner. I want to do not just natural overlay, but I also need to add this missing corner and to extend it just a little bit. Just imagine your client has a shorter nail than all the others, and she just wants it to be longer. So for this client, it's better to use thick consistency, and to me, one of the best thick consistency will be gelish polygel. So okay, I prep the nail, I remove the dust, and then I'm going to prep it. So we can use dehydrator. So dehydrator cleans the surface and removes all the excess moisture from the nail. And I don't know if you see, but there's like a little spot in the center. That's the old product left there, and it's okay to leave it if there's no lifting. And you can leave acrylic or gel. We already tried it. We even did fill on acrylic nails, and it still works fine. And then we need to apply non-acid primer. You can use any brand. Let's use Harmony. I just took this one today with me. Remember that the layer should be always thin. Do not apply too much. Do not touch the skin. So speaking of allergic reactions, you see, so if I'm in the gloves, I'm not touching any products, and if you will be working like that all the time, you will not experience any problems with the allergic. You just also need to have, you know, all the safety stuff like dust collector, mask, protect your eyes, and it just won't be a problem. Okay, so let's use, I don't know which color should we use. Let's do cover pink, since somebody was asking about that one. And I will be also using Sleep Solution liquid. By the way, I also like its smell. It smells like something tropical. And it evaporates very fast. So I recommend do not pour too much in the Dapen dish. Otherwise, you will, you know, if you work long, if you do not work fast yet, I recommend just pour, you know, at least half or even 1/3 of your Dapen dish if you don't want to waste it. Also, I'm always taking this paper, so you can use like a paper from the forms, you know, or any other shiny paper, just in case you will need to put some excess polygel right here, so you can use it on the next nail. Because remember, in the tube, we cannot put it back. Okay, so here we have a thumb, and I recommend you also to use this thing from the very beginning, because if you will start squeezing without it, you will get bubbles inside, and at some point while you will be squeezing it, it will be squeezing together with the bubbles. Also, when you close it, you should keep it like that. So if you're using this, the gel will be always like, you know, almost at the exit of the tube, and then you close it. So what I'm saying, there should not be gap of the oxygen, you know, or any space between the product and the beginning of the tube. Okay, so as we are doing overlay, we probably will not need much, but we'll see. I mean, we can always add and even remove the excess. So this is the pearl I'm taking at the moment. And when you place it, I will be placing it right here, like in the center, a little bit closer to the cuticle, and you see how I'm removing this. So do not leave any air right here, because if you will, once you start application, there will be bubbles. I also sometimes do something like that, like with the spatula. I kind of stretch it a little bit, so it already have this connection with the nail plate. Then you can like put away the spatula, you can clean it right away, or it's not necessary because we will be using it also. And then I take another side, which is brush, pour it in the slip solution, and then remove the excess. So the brush should be slightly wet. It should not be wet like, you know, it's actually flowing on the nail. And then let's start the application. So first we will push it towards the cuticle, like this. Then again pour it into the slip solution and remove the excess. You can also use the tissue. And then I have like 45-degree angle here, and I'm going to do this thin area near the cuticle. This is very important. If you will skip this step, there will be lifting for sure. So I always start with doing this, with working on the cuticle area. So what we need to have here is, if you touch this area near the cuticle, it should be completely thin. You can take a little bit more slip solution, but please do not use too much. Remember, we're not supposed to mix slip solution into our product. And then once you set up this cuticle area, start stretching. It's okay to leave a tiny margin near the cuticle. It's much worse if you do not leave it and you will place it too close. Okay, so now we have this corner missing here, remember? And since it's not too large, we can fill it even without any forms or tips. So I will be stretching this excess product right here, and basically create it, like I call it, on the air. So yes, we could fit the form, but it's time, right? Which is very valuable. Time is money. So then stretch it from the other side, and as you can see, we can even add a little length. Well, of course, you cannot create the long nail, like, you know, like 2 lengths of nail bed like this, but you can add a little length, which is already, I think, kind of cool. But so at this point, you're not supposed to push too much. If you will, then you will get too much product underneath, and we don't want that. So you can also fix it from underneath. And then, you see there's still too much there. We will get a very thick nail if we'll just leave it like that. So I will carefully, with the spatula, remove this excess product right now. So I always teach my students and you guys, like, everything you can do with a brush, with a spatula, with any tool, before placing the product in the lamp, like, do everything with what you can. You need to work with the brush, not with the file. Okay, so we removed some excess product from the underneath, and then again I will slightly stretch it, but here I have a very, very light touch. I'm not pressing at all. And some people say, like, oh, you waste so much time on application. Well, yes, I do, but as the result, I won't waste too much on filing. I think, you know, it's much easier physically to do the application rather than filing. Also, I think it's, you know, it's kind of more fun, right, to build this structure. So as this is an overlay, we don't need to create a very high apex. So here's enough. After curing, I will give you a closer look. So we can continue applying product on the other nails, but I really don't see any good reason for that. It's better to cure it, and while it's curing, work on the other nail, you know, on the other hand. Because why? I mean, clients move, they can simply smudge it. Okay, now clean, and it's time to cure. So they recommend to cure for 60 seconds in LED, But with cover, I always keep 2 minutes. So like you probably know, there's no such thing as over curing. I mean, if you will cover more than you're supposed to, nothing bad's gonna happen. So now we have 15 minutes and we can carefully put it back. Well, this is an overlay, so I usually don't pinch it with natural nail overlays because there's nothing to pinch. But since we added a little length here, I'm going to do it just a little bit. So I slightly pinch it, just so the nail will not be too flat. There should be not much pressure. The client should not feel any pain. Or you can also use a gel clamp. So this step is optional. If your client's nails are already curved, or you just don't see any need in that, you don't have to. Okay, and then cure. Continue curing. So we cured about 20 seconds, I think. So now we need to cure the remaining time, which is a minute and 40 seconds. The nail is cured, and I remove the clamp, and now we can file it. So normally Polygel do not really have any sticky layer. As you can see, it's now matte. It's not shiny, so there's no sticky layer. But if you neglected my advice, or just accidentally, if you were using too much slip solution, then it might have something like sticky layer. The surface will be a bit more shiny and you will feel a little stickiness to it. Well, do not worry, just take a note for yourself that you need to use less liquid next time. And in this case, you will need to remove it because, when we're filing, it will get into the dust. So you see, I removed, now it became even more matte. So we still had a little bit on the surface. Honestly, I removed the sticky layer even when there's nothing, just maybe it's kind of a habit after working with gel. I don't know, I just feel more comfortable after that. So normally you need to try to apply gel so you will not need to file much. So since we were doing this extension, we will also need to file the product underneath. So I recommend to start with that. There are many different beads you can use. So I will be using this carbide bead with a green abrasive. I just want this inner surface to be smooth. So I'll be working at, I think, 20,000 rotations per minute. So when it's thumb, you need to turn it around like this. The product is pretty soft, so be careful, like do not push too much, especially when you're working with e-file, and when you're working with a regular file, also do not file too much. First time when I was filing it, I was like, whoa, I almost filed the whole nail. Okay, that's enough. And now we will slightly file the surface. So first let's do the free edge and the shape. So if you tried Polygel, you probably know that it feels very soft. I mean, it's softer even than traditional gel. So if you've been working with acrylic all this time, you will definitely love it because, I mean, it's just, oh my God, 1, 2, 3, and it's all filed. One side, the other side, and if you did the surface pretty well, you can just buff it. So I will be using file only in this area because we were adding a corner here and the surface is just not as perfect. But normally I try to work that, to do the application. So I will only need to use buffer. Normally that's all this product needs. Okay, so when you're doing a natural nail overlay, you need to have thin product here near the free edge, but it's not supposed to be like paper thin. So they should be some thickness and just not extremely thin. Also, it should be thin near the cuticle and along the sidewall. So the only thick part should be in the center, where the apex is. But if you were adding corner or length, like I just did, then you need to leave some thickness, at least like business card thick. Okay, now we can switch to the buffer. And I think buffer is really good for filing Polygel, since it's soft and you can take the whole surface just with, a couple moves. Now it's good, and I'm pretty happy with the thickness too. I just want to make it a little bit more smooth. So I will turn the client's finger around for a moment. And different way, yeah, push back on the side. And you know, I just want to fix this area where we added this corner. So I'm pushing back the skin and carefully making it smooth. So it is very important when you're doing overlay or adding length without the forms. This is the biggest mistake nail technicians do. So they leave all this thickness underneath, and what will happen then, this nail can easily break because, you know, all the product you applied went under the nail, not on top of the nail. Okay, so now it's not too thick. It's actually the thickness that we need. And I also, if you're using like 150, 180 buffer, it is always better to then buff it with a finer abrasive, so the surface will be very smooth for the color application. Okay, so you also need to make sure that this line is thin. The same, everything is the same like with acrylic or gel. Since I filed it again, I will slightly buff it. And then we can do many different things. We can apply top coat if your client just wants this natural look. If you do not feel comfortable by doing sculptured pink and white, you can draw the line with the gel or gel polish. And you can apply color, you can apply top coat for gel polishes to seal it, and then you can apply a regular nail polish. So there are many, many different things we can do. So let's apply some color. Well, since the summer is over, I feel in constant need of the bright colors again. So let's do mirror gel polish together with the jelly gel polish to get a nice green color. So I will be applying silver first. If you don't have a similar mirror gel polish, you can also use like a chrome powder to do this. So the look I'm looking for is just like silver, and now you're going to see my reflection and not just mine. And the camera. Ta-da! Chrome. Okay, now cure. Let's make it more fun and add, well, I don't know if it's green or yellow. We'll see. Right on top. So this is the jelly gel polish. So if you've been following me on YouTube, on Instagram, you know the recipe how to create your own colors. And if you don't have many metallic, colorful gels or gel polishes, here's what you can do. Just have silver and apply any nice color on top. Well, we will probably need another layer to make it more green, or maybe not. Now it looks like a light green metallic. Okay, cure. So I am using gel polishes now and think this is the best solution to apply on Polygel. If you noticed, I wasn't using any base because we don't need this. And to seal it, you need to use, it's better to use gel polish top coat. So it should be soak off top coat. Do not use the one for hard gels because it's not flexible enough for us. Cure. And the last step will be sealing with a top coat. And by the way, recently one of my favorite top coats is this one, Entity. This is the no cleanse removable top coat, and I really like when it's non-cleansed, but it's soak off still. Last step will be sealing with the top coat. And here's the trick. So you need to seal it very good right from the cuticle up to free edge. I recommend sealing the free edge. Actually, I tried to not do this and it was still okay, but I just, like it so the clients will have a smoother smooth edges. Okay, cure. I think it's 30 seconds, but let's cure 60 just to be sure. So then I will just slightly remove the extra dust because we didn't wash our hands before the color application, and we totally can do this. And this is a no cleanse top coat, so we don't need to remove the sticky layer. And here's the result. So we fixed this broken corner, and now the nail is ready. Now let's take a look from the side view. So there was somebody asking about the apex. So you see here's the cuticle area, here's the apex right in the center.